Alright guys, this is the KSV versus Afreeca series. I've heard a lot of people were very excited with this series, so I'm really looking forward to watching it. Let's just jump right into the pick ban. Looks like it starts right here. Okay, make sure that the speed is set to ×2. It is. Okay, so how this starts off. Camille being banned away by KSV. Sejuani picked away by Afreeca. And it's really early to read super deep into some of this stuff. I expect, traditional champions to be banned away, Kog'Maw being one of them. I think it's interesting that Kog is actually banned away by the blue side. Again, I say it all the time. He is the best ADC in the meta. He's the best in 8.1. He's the best in 8.2. Jace now banned away. I think that KSV thinks that that's Khan or Smeb on the other side. Keen, however, he was in very high contention. He was being quite contested by a lot of teams in this offseason. A lot of teams wanted him. He was on Ever 8 winners. And, there was a lot of teams inquiring about trying to pick him up. He was very high on the ladder. He was like 900 LP. He had another account that was like 700 LP. Then he had another account that we don't talk about that was D1, but, whatever. Korean solo queue is brutal. So, anyways, contestation. Contested. God, I think I'm speaking wrong here. Coach, by the way. All right. Malzahar banned away last. Azir is still open. QV looks like he wants that gangplank on blue side. And they're hovering. They insta-lock Kalista, and they're still hovering Ezreal. Don't know what the reasoning for that would be, but anyways, they end up picking the Gnar. So, Gangplank, a little bit safer on the blue side. The jungle dynamic, affects that matchup now. Definitely a lot. And then obviously Gnar, one of the traditional answers to Gangplank. But the Kleptomancy certainly helps him out. Ezreal was picked up, and they did just take away the Azir for a crown. One of the few players in the world that I think, just give it to him. There's a handful of people that I would probably just say that for regarding Azir. Should everyone be able to play him? Absolutely. Can everyone play him? No. Zoe picked up by Afreeca, and that's a champion that you kind of can associate with Kuro, at least, from my past memory. It's not a bad champion for him. Kuro just won't die. Zoe never dies. Problem is that this team composition by KSV, they're very slippery. Then again, Zoe's Sleepy Bubble Trouble is quite big. It's a big white ball that comes out of a girl. I don't know where this is going. But the other thing that is important, though, is if any of them get hit, it's a surefire way to go down. So, I was just about to say Tom, but they picked it. So, the second ban phase features Kha'Zix and Shyvana. And both of these champions are the scaling ramp champs, that they like lane kingdoms, present, and sort of present as well. So they like lane kingdoms, and they have that. Zac was pinched away from KSV. Very, very difficult to play against the Azir Zac. The range that they can approach from is just insane. Pair that with a Gangplank, super insane. Makes it very difficult for even Gnar to get really aggressive onto turret because of the range that Zac can approach from. Jarvan taken away too, takes away from a lot of the combos that they would be able to offer up. And then they take a Nidalee. And I think that, interestingly enough, this is a kind of a unique pick because one of the things that this team composition is kind of weak to is the pokey barrage. That fight fire with fire. You poke with Zoe, you poke with Nidalee, you poke with Gnar, they try to poke with Azir, they try to poke with Ezreal, they have the barrels from Gangplank. So this is sort of a little bit of fighting fire with fire. Also, the tempo that can be created by Nidalee is really strong because the jungler pool has been heavily pinched across the board. We have 5 jungler bans in this game, okay? So Nidalee being picked up, if Keen can actually get an advantage over QV and top, they can definitely coordinate dives against this Gangplank, and that makes it pretty scary. So Tahm Kench is actually picked up Probably just as an anti-Zoe, anti-Gnar measure. A lot of people actually think that Tom is particularly good against poke. I don't know why. And Rengar now picked up as the jungler. And Rengar offers you a way to just get onto Kalista without your opponent really having a say. Offers a way to get onto Zoe, offers a way to get onto Nidalee. But the problem is that he does dive onto you too, but he has his way to break. So if you're looking at something like a Jax here, it doesn't quite fit as well. Elise obviously doesn't fit. Lee Sin, not really. All right, so let's just get right into the game. Okay. Spirit looks like he's going to be starting on the right-hand side. Start blue, they leash it for him. No spellbook. Anywhere except on Kuro. Looks like Spirit is actually going to go for a full clear. He recognizes that his laners have basically no way to offer him anything early. And then also, realistically, they should be able to play around Ambition's gank. I love what Ambition did. He recognized as well, I'm never ganking this. I'm never ganking this. Let me just make sure Nidalee can't try to be cute, come somewhere, heal laner, throw a spear, you know, delete someone's HP or something, try to be cute. He just gets it right out of the way. This is a route I talk about in a lot of VOD reviews, and players don't do it enough. So he's going to get this, and now he's free to just come back, go boom, boom, recall, and then path here, and then he can path here, and then he has option. Or he can then just go like this, and then he can go like this, and boom. And again, protecting all the laners. So, Ambition, really, really smart. I love what he did. Just covers everything and makes sure Spirit can't get away with it. Spirit, reading it perfectly, acknowledges that he can't do anything. Not against this kind of coordination. He just goes for the full clear as well. And Spirit, he gets the better end of the stick because he's able to just do this. Whereas Rengar doesn't have the same luxury. Okay? Because this camp is awkward. So, because this camp is awkward, Spirit naturally gets a small little advantage. Now Spirit, he has priority. He's always had priority. And now he knows exactly where Rengar is going. Yep. Spirit gets to the Scuttle Crab. He gets it first. And now here's the thing. His return camps, beautiful. Rengar's a little bit delayed because the root, remember. Okay. This is much more awkward than this. Lines up perfectly for Spirit. Ambition. Now, again, Ambition doesn't actually need to do anything. His laners are scaling. He just needs defensive control, river wards. You know, use Faker wards to the left of Crown's turret. Everything's going to be fine. Looks like he's actually trying to get some maybe intel. Teleports come down in top. You see the ping go down onto the brush. He's been alerted that there's no ward there. Comes back and he gets the Scuttle Crab. And this is all he needs to be doing. His laners don't need ganks. KSV don't need kills to win this game. They need to just weather the storm. And then it's not as, you know, a move or as brain dead as some of the other compositions that we evaluated. Because Afreeca, they still have outs. You know, they're always going to have outs inside of the Zoe, Nidalee, and, you know, Zoe, Nidalee, Narpoke. They're always going to have those outs available there. So it's not like, you know, Afreeca should be down and out like the SKT versus Kingzone, where, you know, SKT, David versus Goliath series. Got the blue for Kuro. Now you can see that Spirit, I mean, he's gotten, you know, these clears over Ambition, right? But what is he doing with it? Kuro gonna be able, or Keen, sorry, gonna be able to fade that gank. You can see Spirit just continues to just power farm. And so any gank attempt that Ambition makes, you know, if it doesn't end up being successful in some regard, it's that much more painful against the Nidalee. Now he has that that gold per 10 item. These are the spots that are really slippery. The problem is that Gangplank has stopwatch, so even if Nidalee would have came top, like right here, it's so hard to coordinate. Super, super hard to do anything, even if Nidalee goes top there. Without stopwatch, this is a much easier dive. It's almost always going to be a pretty diveable thing, even in the face of Cuvées ult. Even if you dive him and you don't get him, if you get his ultimate out of him, it's still sort of a victory in itself. Because you know exactly when your camps on the right-hand side of the map are coming up. Crown being repelled back. Lots of damage on this mid-tier 1 turret. Mid-tier 1 turret, super important. They call in the Gangplank ultimate to keep it alive. See, Kuro's turret, super, super, super important. We talked about this in a few series as well, you know, getting advantages in the jungle and then not pressure relieving some of your laners. You don't need to make kills. You don't necessarily need to get summoners. At least not super early on. If you do it when you have nothing else to do, and you do it within close proximity of a camp, Nidalee doesn't get as far ahead, but you know, your laner will really feel the impact. Crown doing his damnedest to keep the lane state stable. And so now Afreeca, they've lost the option to blow the game wide open. They don't have that option anymore. So their outs are now down to the mid-game stalemates, like the wars with Zoe and Nidalee. It's all on Spirit and Kuro to carry this game at this point. We're almost in the mid-game. Laning phase is still going on. Game is definitely going to change in 8.2. Lane phase will not always last so consistently long as in all of these LCK games. Team doing a pretty good job up and top. Yeah. Interestingly enough, this is actually a very similar gank attempt that I talked about in a previous VOD, right, with the Nidalee. I think it was, what, Cuz? And we talked about how because you just have so much stick, you can still get onto them. It's really, just because there's a Tahm Kench and an Ezreal doesn't mean they're gank immune. It's one of those interesting dynamics of Nidalee having a little bit more versatility coming from the right-hand side, ganking bottom. And if you're watching this and you're like an analyst or something and you're in chat, realistically, look at the main screen very little. Just keep watching the minimap. Understand what the champions can do. Constantly just keep asking questions. What if they do this? How about if they do that? You have to make sure that you're seeing everything. Sometimes you can miss things and it completely alters what you're going to say. Wow. Keen may as well just... God. May as well be an American how much gas or oil he just stole from KSV. Alright. So now it looks like they're going to pick up the Ocean Drake. That's actually really big for their team comp. And okay, KSV just ends up going down. So First Blood turret goes over to Afreeca. Not the end of the world. Again, their champions are very, very efficient with gold. I'm hesitant to say that they're just grossly more efficient than Afreeca, because you cannot neglect or ignore Nidalee, Spears, and Zoe. It just deals so much damage. The Kalista could basically be anything at this point. The Gnar could basically be anything at this point. They don't matter. This is a two-man show now. Ambition coming down into bottom. Cloud Drake's the next Drake that's spawning. That's actually way more important for Afreeca than it is for KSV. You see, they're just trying to exert as much pressure as they can, but they don't really have an obligation to. Really nice that Afreeca's actually forced to commit the Rift Herald to get that mid-tier 1. Crown's just proving to be a little bit too much of a burden defending that turret. And it's a pretty big capture. Is it as ideal as they would have liked? No, but it's not the end of the world either. Could they have maybe pushed in Crown and then rotated Kuro up to top and used it to capitalize on a luxury turret like top tier 2? Yeah, but then it makes it that much more difficult, and the standoffs in mid lane are truly just going to be like watching the movie Dodgeball. And then if Gangplank's there and he's level 13, it just makes it so hard, because now you can't just shove out Crown. You have to also somehow shove out KSV, also shove out Ruler. Makes it really problematic to get that mid-tier 1. Ambition just continuing to try to farm. Now, Afreeca's ahead in gold, but I would still say that the state of the game is pretty even. Game state mostly entirely up to what happens. Now, in terms of tempo and control and priority, Afreeca is ahead. They are in the driver's seat. It's basically up to them what they want to do. KSV's goal is to match it, read it accordingly, and then not get caught off guard by it. Afreeca looking for constant vision. And basically, the importance of fighting over the vision constantly is mostly because Zoe becomes so much scarier when you're walking into Fog of War. If any of these members, with the exception of Ambition or Core JJ, gets hit by a Zoe sleepy bubble, look at this. Oof! Just like that. Now imagine if this happens late game. This is a beautiful VOD to watch, because the team compositions are so balanced in a way. Like, both teams have outs. Both teams clearly have something to do. It's more difficult for Afreeca to make it work. Beautiful game. Love seeing team comps like this. Now Keen up in the top lane, just continuing to shove. And just look at the gold disparity everywhere. Azir versus Zoe, pretty much even, right? 500 difference, but realistically, I mean, Azir's going to do what he's doing. And Zoe, again, we basically, this is why I said, I'm hesitant to just say that it's clearly stronger. If this was a Ryze and this was an Azir, Azir's ahead. But that's not the dynamic at play. Nidalee, monstrously ahead of Rengar. This is a really, really big problem. Ezreal being ahead of Kalista, it's good. So they have one slight advantage, one monstrous disadvantage, and then this is kind of even. Now, actually, I just realized I misspoke a little bit earlier. I said that it's harder for Afreeca to pull off the team comp than it is for KSV. Should state at this level, it's not entirely the case. To resist and plow through Afreeca, when Afreeca's as good as they are, that takes a lot of effort too. To consistently dodge everything, fade it all, and then punch through. Just looking at team comp versus team comp, it does look like Afreeca's is mechanically more intensive. To resist against it and eventually, push through for a victory, that's really, really hard at this level of play. Nice little barrel. Very, very controlled and slow game. Benefits actually both parties in a way. I mean, at this stage, it's beneficial because Afreeca can just continuously keep playing a vision game, and they can try to win out through Kuro and Spirit. If Afreeca was ahead early, like pre-15, there's no hope for KSV. Keen maybe gonna get jumped on. Gangplank ult came down. Oh, missed the Ebola. He missed the Ebola, so turns out that Keen is immune. Keen's not an anti-vaxxer. Cloud Drake coming up. Afreeca definitely want to get that. There was some action in mid. Looks like Death Cap for Zoe. I really, really like that choice. Just go for, really, you just have to go for broke. Get as much damage as you can. Stun someone, and then just annihilate them. One blow. You can't play like this tricky game, And when you're looking at the itemization, yeah, they have magic resistances, but not a lot. Ezreal doesn't have a lot of MR, okay? So the Sword Pen Boots, the Leandries, that's already doing work. I think she's actually true damaging Ezreal right now. I could be wrong here. She might even be true damaging Gangplank. Let's take a look. See if we can get a clip on someone's MR. Anytime now. Rengar 71, so not quite true damaging Rengar. Anytime here. Nope. All right. 60. Okay, so not quite true damaging onto Gangplank either. Not quite on him. Ezreal 35. Basically true damaging Ezreal. Crown, he's got some of that MR. One Punch Man. Like that Kuro got the Ghost. I think that's probably the best summoner spell to get right now. Maybe you could argue Ignite in some pretty thin instances. But I think that Ghost is really strong. The other problem is that KSV is so good at fighting back against 131s, even though that Afreeca is on red side, 131 is significantly weaker on red. It's an option that they would probably have against different team compositions. Clearing out all the vision and Baron. Oh, there's a poke onto Crown. And you can see Crown even going for the death cap too. He realizes that, you get basically one opening on them. Just make it count. You can't just chunk Nidalee or Kuro or Kramer or someone to, 70%, or you can't just do 70-80% of their damage, because Nidalee is going to heal them all the way back up. You have to make sure that when you get onto them, you need to kill them. He even has a full split. He basically has an assassin Gnar build in a way. Yeah, and this is that barrage. They're trying to get a kill onto Tushin. You can't fight them in these narrow corridors. Watch the movie, watch Lord of the Rings. Or you can watch 300 too. Watch the end, when all the arrows are in the sky. They got Baron. This is what they need to bust down the doors. And if you're KSV, I mean, the way that you take these fights is you have to go forward. You gotta go in on Azir. You have to cast the Gangplank ult with Ambition's ultimate. You gotta be aggressive. Tahm Kench and Ezreal, they gotta be going on the offensive. And it's a little bit weird because then there's a Gnar. Like, you're running into a Gnar and you think that Gnar is just gonna ult you back, or you're running into a Braum. Really, really nice team comp. Ooh, stolen away by Spirit. You got the red. And now the 1-3-1 becomes problematic. If that Azir wasn't Azir, if that was like an Orianna, this could be a nightmare. We'll finally get bottom tier 2. Now the question is like, how much can Afreeca get with this? I mean, they're not. They should have probably pushed this turret up a little bit further. They knew where Gangplank was. They knew where Ezreal was. They had an idea of where Rengar is. They should have just pushed that up to the turret with Zoe. Let Gnar get to mid. Gnar escorts mid, and then you unite as 5 in mid and get the mid tier 2. Yeah, now they're going to rotate up into top. I'm going to get this turret too. I'll probably just back off here and get Elder. Should just back up and recall. Yeah, recall, get elixirs. And now Elder, this should be the nail in the coffin. Now you don't need Keen to come for it. He has so much attack speed and raw damage, he threatens a backdoor. And they can't actually take a team fight at the Elder without Gangplank being there. They actually need his barrels. So if he teleports, you could just have Keen stay on top and then try to, rain down Hailfire onto the opponent. Now they have the Elder. This is a nightmare. They have to make sure that they synchronize. Hello, Spirit, what are you doing? What? 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 Why did he just clear his whole jungle? They have an opportunity. Okay, look at this right here. Ready? Right after the Elder. All right? 1-3-1 right now. Spirit comes here, shoves. He's not really in any danger. You know where they are. Okay? If 3 people go here, 1 person go here. Don't need to. I don't understand why he clears out his whole jungle. Did he get a level up? 17. No, it's not about a level up. It doesn't matter if he one-shots the camps. It's about timing. Looks like everyone wanted to recall, maybe? They're not really utilizing their Elder. Okay, now they're pushing. Unless, I mean, here's the thing. If you push this wave at the same time that you push this wave goes in, dies, and then you can just move down to this wave, but then this wave is offbeat. This wave's going to die to Gangplank, and then you're waiting on this wave. I just don't know if he's actually thinking about that. If you go like this, and then 4 bot, wait, this is an interesting spot because of these. You could go bottom as Nidalee and then don't push this instantly. So let these waves collide, don't push it, wait for Nidalee to get the wave here, and then push. Break, 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 unite, then you go 0-4-1, and then you unite as 5. If you clear everything out, I mean, I guess it makes the argument that the lanes can sync up. Braum backs. But I just don't think that they need... The Elder is such a crucial timing. I mean, they still have it. They just don't have as much duration. It's just, it's a little nitty-gritty thing. Oh my god! Fortunately, though, it's a Tahm Kench. We talked about how Tahm and Rengar can get hit. Okay. Yeah, he can't get hit. Dodgeball, baby. Here we go. Oh! But see, mid lane, that was the puzzle that's missing. Keen needs to manipulate it so that he goes top, crashes to Gangplank, and mid arrives and he goes mid. This is also a pretty unique instance where, let's take a look at like 2 minutes pre-Baron, right? Let's say that, like, so let's think about something. Let's say you have Gnar get full Mega, right? And then as a wave comes up, you just have Gnar jump forward, and then you all just start hitting. You can start sacrificing members in exchange for objectives, because you won't lose anything on the map. Because they can't just suddenly go into you. It's not possible. Even if Gnar dies, it doesn't matter. Nidalee, Zoe, you know, you guys can kite for days. You have the Braum ultimate defensively. Kalista can save Braum. This is something that I'm not seeing utilized in pro play. I think the concept of trading bodies for objectives, you know, it's sort of like you play chess with like a novice or something, right? And you tell them to sacrifice their queen or their bishop or their rook or their knight or something, because the state of the board then becomes advantageous for you to get a checkmate. And they just have it stuck in their head that, no, I can't sacrifice that. That's an important piece. You know? Sacrifice is definitely possible in that situation. They've got Keen, but it comes at the cost. Oh! Okay. Alright. Comes at the cost of the Baron. They can give up some objectives. Gold at this point doesn't matter. I wonder if Keen's Bloodthirster is better than Death Stance. I really do. I wonder if it's better than Death Stance. I wonder what his CDR is. He has 20% from Black Cleaver. Maybe he's running Transcendence. Alright, they're in the base, and now Dodgeball begins. Zero summons the turret. Keen is bringing up bottom. Yep. Trying to catch Afreeca is like trying to get onto Nightcrawler in the X-Men. It's pretty hard. Yeah, Keen's gonna get the turret. And now, oh, he didn't get it just yet. Now they're gonna go top, and now all they have to do, what? What the hell? All right, that ain't Khan. Khan wouldn't have backed up that far. Could have just gotten the turret. What's that turret's HP? Auto. Yeah, I mean, he still had a minion, just auto it. Keep autoing it. It doesn't matter if you die. You're not losing anything. Just keep autoing it. Get the turret. You don't lose anything. Even if he died. Look at that. Khan would be escorting that minion wave. Here we go. Here's the Kite City. So hard. So hard. This reminds me, I don't know why it just went through my head. What is his name? It's like the White Fox or something. The guy that like, hold on. I gotta Google this. Is it White Fox? White Fox Sniper? Oh, the White Death by the Red Army. The Finnish sniper. Yeah. This must be like what it's like, right? Going into that forest. Like all that popped into my head is like people running into like a snow-covered forest and then just arrows like coming out of nowhere. Not arrows, but gunshots. It's like what it feels like when KSV is charging headstrong into Afreeca. The White Death. Is it Desert Fox? I thought it was White Fox. But apparently it's White Death. There's someone with the name Fox. Yeah, the one-man army. Another instance of like, you know, another instance of something like that, kind of, is like Black Hawk Down. Desert Fox is the German general? Okay. Now all they have to do is thread the needle. This is another instance of trading lives for turrets is valuable. We saw this in the SKT Jin Air series. You see how, I just want to point out something. You see how Azir's turret is still living, but the Nexus is taking damage? If this was America and this was an Apple product, this would be a lawsuit. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay? All right. That was a very, very fun game to watch. It was a very, very fun game to watch. Super huge credit to Afreeca for pulling off that composition. They played very well. Ambition could have done a lot of stuff different in the early game. Should have alleviated pressure in some instances. Opted not to. Hadn't gotten into this habit of like power farming, and then it's like the Rengar pick just doesn't do anything. And we talked about that from Draft Select when all of the junglers were pinched, and it's like, what jungler do you pick? Rengar, at least a little bit better than Jax, because Jax would just jump in and die. At least Rengar, you know, he has the ability to get onto the opponent. He has the ability to disrupt things. So, pretty good there. And now we are going to go into game number 2.